These 12 terrifying clips of animal encounters will surely remind you not to mess with animals in nature. This clip begins with a group of tourists traveling in an open Jeep, taking photos and videos of a tiger they found during their trip. After a while, the predator finally realizes the group of tourists following it and immediately switches to attack mode. The driver hits the accelerator in an attempt to escape, but it only worsens things as it triggers the animal's predatory instincts. The fast chase eventually slows down, with the Jeep driving very slowly while the animal closely follows. The passengers tremble in fear as the tiger doesn't take its eyes off them. Then the tiger proceeds to do this. Fortunately, they managed to leave the predator behind and escaped unharmed. This next encounter starts with a group of people recording a man being investigated by a lion after jumping into its enclosure. The man appears fearless in the situation, probably because he was intoxicated during the encounter, as mentioned in the original post. Lions are not naturally aggressive towards humans, but attacks in zoos occur more frequently than wild attacks, making this encounter much more dangerous. At first, the lion only seems to be watching him, but then it can be seen that this is not what's happening as this happens. After the predator attempted to pounce on him, the man becomes much more aware of things that could go wrong and starts to panic. The clip ends abruptly, and what happens next is still unknown. A man can be seen approaching a small water bank, trying to catch baby alligators to show them in a video for educational purposes. After the man locates the baby alligators, he immediately starts working to catch them, and at first, the mother doesn't seem to care. Firstly, he struggles to catch the baby predators, taking him some time, enough time for the mother to take notice. Guess on the embankment. The baby alligators emit certain sounds in moments of distress, which is exactly what happens in the video. The man quickly releases the baby alligator, giving the predator the opportunity to retrieve its offspring and return them to the water. Despite the speed of the animal, the man managed to escape with his body intact. A group of tourists can be seen taking photos and videos of a large tiger blocking the dirt road they are on. The encounter doesn't really scream danger at first, as the tourists are in the safety of their jeeps, besides being at a safe distance. However, despite this, they must remain seated, as tigers are very fast and can quickly close the gap between them and their prey. However, one of the tour guides gets too excited and decides it would be a good idea to get out of the Jeep. "I'm going to get crushed," mocking the animal and staring it directly in the eyes. Things quickly spiral out of control when the predator decides to do something terrifying. Fortunately, he escaped just in time. This encounter starts with a tourist filming a large elephant minding its own business looking for food near a road. The tourist stays in the car, thinking the elephant won't be able to harm him while inside the vehicle. Elephants, especially males, won't have trouble overturning and destroying a car, and most males can demolish a truck. The sounds of the car's engine eventually anger the elephant, leading it to do something horrifying. A couple of elderly individuals can be seen watching a herd of moose from a dangerously close distance, spelling disaster for both. At first, it seemed like the herd didn't care that the couple was approaching them, but things quickly escalate when the moose does this. Once fully grown, a bull moose averages around 1.5 meters tall at the shoulder and can weigh between 300 and 500 kilograms. At the start of this wild animal encounter, a man can be seen filming a deer blocking their path and preventing them from walking further. The animal refuses to move away, despite the hikers throwing things at it in an attempt to make it flee. Seconds pass, and the deer continues to stand its ground, so the hikers have no choice but to keep walking. However, this proves to be their biggest mistake, as when they get too close, the herbivore instantly goes into attack mode. During the mating season, deer can become very aggressive and can attack both humans and dogs, which likely explains this animal's behavior. The deer eventually leaves the hikers alone, and they can continue on their way. The deer. The next clip starts with a man recording himself with his GoPro, biking through a forest full of tall trees and bushes. As he rides his bike, he notices some strange sounds coming from the forest, causing him to turn right only to discover that this is approaching. He immediately pedals faster, turning back several times just to see if the giant predator is still on his trail. He does his best not to tire, knowing that if he does, he'll slow down, and there's no way to know what will happen next. However, his escape on the bike is thwarted, as a branch blocks his path and forces him to abandon his bike and escape on foot. Fortunately, the bear retreats and stops chasing the poor cyclist. This next encounter starts immediately intense, showing a large elephant attacking an open jeep full of terrified tourists. The elephant keeps attacking the jeep and almost overturning it at certain parts of the video. Despite this, the tourists remain calm and continue filming the encounter, completely trusting the driver. Unfortunately, the clip ends abruptly, and what happens next is still unknown. Dive into a GoPro camera attached to a pole in a pool full of alligators, trying to capture close-up shots of these terrifying animals. At first, the camera sees nothing, but moments later, something completely overwhelming happens. The man behind the camera does his best to capture footage of the predator attacking the camera. And finally, he captures this. He manages to retrieve the camera from the jaws of the predator after a while. This terrifying encounter starts quite normally, with a man recording himself kayaking alone in the sea, minding his own business. At first, nothing seems out of the ordinary when suddenly something extremely terrifying happens. He quickly paddles away from the shark, but the predator is determined to test the kayaker. Fortunately, the shark doesn't attack again, putting an end to this terrifying encounter. This short but terrifying clip shows an alligator with its jaws wide open, ready to bite anything that comes too close. It would be wise not to get too close to the open jaws of an alligator, but someone thinks otherwise. Fortunately, the woman pulls her hand away just in time and remains unharmed. Thanks for watching until the end.